Hi, everyone. Welcome to the True Nosh Kitchen. I'm Renee, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a lotus root sandwich. And we're going to sear it on both sides, and it's going to be a great appetizer, or you can have it as a main course. A lot of Asian restaurants use lotus root, and it's quite common. You can find it in most Chinese and Asian grocery stores in your neighborhood. I found this actually at a Korean grocery store near my house. I live in Vancouver, BC. Those of you who don't live here, I live in a Mount Pleasant area, and there's some Korean, Chinese grocery stores all around. There's Chinatown, there's the Kim Mart and H Mart, so you can go there and find lotus root, usually in the produce section. I love this because it's crunchy. You can fry it. You can also use this to make soup. It actually makes a really nice, hearty, sweet soup. So you can use this instead of like potatoes, and it gives a nice flavor, a very kind of nutty flavor. It's quite distinct too. So if you guys don't know what a lotus root is, it grows in ponds and it has these beautiful big lotus leaves that we use for like sticky rice also. So what you want to do after you bring home your awesome lotus root, they come in like these little stalk like things. You break them into small pieces where they join, and you want to rinse them well because they do grow in swampy, muddy areas. And you want to start by taking off the skin. Okay, so sometimes the lotus roots are larger and they're smaller, so try to find thick ones that are the size of, let's say, what it would be like. This is more like size of like $2 coins put together, about 2 inches in diameter. Okay. Slowly take off all the skin and leaving you with the white, nice inside flesh of the lotus root. So those of you who don't know lotus roots, you can make a lot of interesting things with it. Like the Japanese make chips out of these guys, and Chinese usually use this to make soup. But I visited Thailand and Bali a few years ago, and what I found them to use the lotus is to make fabric. Okay, so I'm going to slowly just chop some of these imperfections out. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. So what I have today is another ingredient called TVP, which is textured vegetable protein. This is very easy to find. I found these at Famous Foods. We're going to be selling it at our store as well, truenosh.com, when we open in the fall. I have about 50 grams of this in here, and I'm just going to soak it in some water. It's going to rehydrate a little bit. And what you want to do, if you want to like season the water so the textured protein gets a little bit of seasoning, that would be awesome too. So a little bit of salt. I have about half a teaspoon in there. You can also add in some pepper also in there, and give it a little bit of time, like about 5 minutes, to rehydrate. In the meantime, I use some dry chickpeas. Chickpeas are great. They're very full of fiber and protein. There's also a lot of iron in here, as well as like vitamin B6 also. So what I did is I soaked the chickpeas overnight, and they rehydrated, and I just boiled them for about 10 minutes. So after you rehydrate it, it doesn't take long to cook, but if you don't soak it and you boil it, it takes like an hour to cook. So these are quite soft right now. So you can even like, oops, you can even just use your fingers and squish them, and they should kind of mush up, and that's when you know they're ready. So I went ahead and actually just put my chickpeas in a blender, or you can just use straight up hummus that you buy store-bought. And this is already mushed up chickpea, right? So it's just more economical to do this at home, but if you have mush up chickpeas or use it in a can to drain out the water, rinse it out well, and then mush it up into a paste, add like some oil and a little bit more water in there. You can add other things like nuts and seeds in this chickpea paste. So you just go ahead and mush the chickpeas. And these are the two ingredients that we're going to use to fill the inside of the lotus root sandwiches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the outside, like smaller parts out. So you can see the inside of the lotus root is very cool. There's a lot of different patterns that come out of it. I'm going to cut about 1/2 centimeter in little slices of these lotus root into small pieces. So you can see these lotus roots have these strands when I take it out, and that's what people in Asia use to make fabric out of it. So, which is kind of cool, I thought. And they make these for monks, and they also sell it on the street. So it's a very nice, sustainable way of making fabric when you don't have like sheep for wool or cotton. Okay, so I'm going to finish cutting this last piece off, so don't hurt your fingers. Okay, so the end pieces you can also pan sear. We're going to be using a cast iron to pan sear our lotus roots, but you can use any type of pan. So you're going to lie these out like this, and you can choose ones that are like similar in size, and these are going to be forming the sandwiches together in your dish. And the other ones you can also just chop up into pieces and make fried rice, or you can put it in your soup, and it gives it a nice chewy, not chewy, crunchy texture. As I said, it's great to learn a new vegetable, right? This is a root vegetable. All right, I'm going to go ahead and check my vegetable protein. So it's soaked up quite a lot of water, and the excess water you just want to squeeze out. So about 50 grams, you would want to use about 1/2 cup of water. And if there's excess water, you just kind of squeeze out and you don't have to use it. Okay, so for my chickpeas, I have about 1/2 cup of chickpea mash here. Okay, and you can scale it up or scale it down as you wish. And for each 1/2 cup, I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of my textured vegetable protein. This is great to add also into your vegan meat patties, like when you make some bean patties for like your barbecue or your sandwiches. You can add this into your mix, and this will increase the protein in your vegan burger mix, right? Okay, so I'm gonna mix this up like so. And if you have some whole chickpeas, you can go ahead and add that in too. So I did save some whole chickpeas, and this would add quite a lot of texture in here. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Okay. And I'm just going to add this in. Okay, so I am using today one of my staple creations. I am a registered dietitian, and my father passed away from diabetes, and we love Asian sauces. And I found that there's so many additives and sugar and salt in a lot of Asian sauces in the market, and I decided to create my own hoisin sauce. We also have our vegan oyster sauce and our black bean sauce in this Asian black garlic line. Black garlic is a garlic that takes about 3.5 weeks to ferment and increases the antioxidants about 3 times. So it's also anti-inflammatory, as well as the prebiotics, right, for your gut health. also. So instead of sugar, I use apples, and I use sweet potatoes and caramelized onions. There's black sesame in here. There's some dates, and there is some balsamic vinegar, and a low sodium gluten-free soy sauce, so a tamari. And what else? I said apples already. A little bit of miso also is in here. We use miso from Amano, which is a local Canadian miso company. All right, so what I'm going to do is kind of just eyeball about 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce into here, and we're going to save a little bit for our dipping. Okay, so now we have chickpeas and textured vegetable protein in here, and also hoisin sauce. You can add extra pepper if you liked, or some hot sauce, or even some peppers in there if you like some spice to your mix. It's really up to you about the flavoring too, right? This in itself is also just a great dip too. So you can serve this up as a dip. And what I'm going to do is take 1 side of my lotus root, and just paste it on like I was going to make a sandwich. And then the other side, again, just put that on like this. And there you go. That's just the first step of making your lotus seed. I guess I would call them lotus seed bites or lotus seed sandwiches. Not lotus, I keep saying lotus seed, I'm sorry, lotus root, okay? So aren't these cute? And then in the Japanese or Chinese restaurants, they would probably batter these, but today we're just gonna pan sear them straight up. So in the meantime, in the back here, I have a pan. I'm gonna turn it on to about medium heat, okay? And I have some avocado oil here, so I'm gonna go ahead and spray this. I kind of like this because you don't use too much oil. You can use grapeseed oil or sunflower oil. We're gonna pan sear these guys and wait for that oil to get warm. And in the meantime, I'm gonna make another one of these cute sandwiches, and these are great little appetizers for you to serve guests, and it's kind of a wow factor because they're so cute, and the patterns on the lotus roots are so pretty. Okay, so this is a very high protein snack or appetizer. And once you make a bunch of these, like, and you can cook them, you can freeze them in like a Ziploc bag, and whenever you're ready to eat, you can pop it up in the toaster oven for 10 minutes, or you can pan sear it, or you can bake it in the oven if you have a lot, right? Okay, so I can feel the water getting quite warm. And what you want to do is get your plate ready. So I have a serving plate, and I also have a dipping cup for some extra hoisin sauce. So I'm going to pour some hoisin sauce into my dipping sauce cup right here. I don't know if you guys can see. And then I'm going to save the rest of the vegetable protein. So you can continue making more. If you bought more lotus roots, go ahead, wash it and peel it, and you can make a ton more of these. And this is fun to do with kids also, and also your friends when they come over. You can do a nice quick dinner party with them. So I'm going to bring you guys closer to my stove over here, and you can see what I have going on. Okay, so once the pan is hot, okay, I will start putting these guys on. So nice sizzle. And if you do have a cover, you can go ahead and cover these guys. It just makes it cook faster. But if you don't have a cover, then don't worry about it too much. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab whichever cover I have. And you just want to cover it for about 2 minutes. And I do want to talk more about some of my sauces here. If you guys want to go ahead and check out my website, it's truenosh.com. We're opening a store very soon in Vancouver. Everything is going to be gluten-free, sugar-free, and mostly plant-based. So today we used our black garlic hoisin sauce. You can also find our black garlic black bean sauce with miso and ginger. That's really good for stir fries and on tacos and fried rice. And then you can also find our vegan oyster sauce. Instead of oysters, I use mushrooms and kelp. So it is a vegan oyster style sauce, and it's great for broccoli stir fries, a good marinade. You can use it as a spread. You can use it as a dip. So even like winter is coming, we can do some hot pot soup base with all my sauces, and that's also a lot of fun. Okay, so now about, I guess, a few minutes has gone by. I'm gonna get some tongs so we can flip these guys in a fashionable manner. Okay, so be careful with these. You might fall apart. So you can see that it's got a nice, beautiful sear on one side, and that's what we want for these guys. You turn them around. And the filling can be anything really. So it's really up to you. If you're a meat eater or a flexitarian, you can put meat in it. And if you like other types of veggies like eggplant, you can put that in there too. Or you can even put like fish in it too. So there's so many different ideas, not just chickpeas and vegetable protein, but today it's a vegan version. So it's really up to you, like what kind of filling you want to put in. And if you have like leftover filling for like dumplings, go ahead and put that in there as well. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to bring you guys back to where we originally started, and I hope you guys are having fun. And I'm going to prepare my plate for serving, and I'm going to have a taste of these cute little, you can also call them fritters too. They're going to be a little bit crispy. Just going to take another minute for them to cook. And I'll check out the comments and questions later on. I'm just doing this by myself. So thanks for watching and signing up on Eventbrite. And those of you who didn't sign up for the class, you know, the ingredients can be emailed to you if you email us at info@truenosh.com. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna check these guys out now. Ooh, they look great. And as I said, you can freeze these, or you can keep them in a nice area in your fridge for about 2 days, and you can reheat them whenever you feel like eating very healthy, high protein and high fiber snack. Okay, so I'm going to put these out on here because they're ready. And that didn't take long at all. And if you like them to be a little bit more crispy, you can put them a little bit longer, and a little bit more oil also helps with the crisp as well. Okay. It smells really nice in here, actually. I didn't put that much seasoning on here. So if you add some more spices, if you like spicier foods, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna turn my stove off. And at the end, you can drizzle some hoisin sauce on top, or you can use this as a dipping sauce. When it gets a little bit cooler, you can pick it up with your hands. And I love using a good sesame oil. So you can drizzle a little bit of sesame oil on each of these guys, just like 1 or 2 drops, and it will give it a little bit of an elevated complex flavor. Okay, the sesame oil smells amazing. Wipe my hands, and I'm going to go get some chopsticks and see how they taste. Okay, hope it won't burn my tongue. Oops, a little bit hard to get. So you can just pick them up with your hands. You don't really need chopsticks. I'm gonna dip it in my hoisin sauce. It's really crispy and quite nutty. I actually like the addition of the whole chickpeas. So if you want to save half of the chickpeas to mix in, that's great. And I'm super excited that I got to share this recipe with you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time on the True Nosh Kitchen. Bye.